So welcome everybody. Today what we are going to do is we are going to talk about esports at UNCW and talk about how we started, talk about where we are today. We're going to start at the beginning and we are going to go through everything that we have done over the last year, a big reflection with members of our esports club, really the core group of people who have helped put it together. My name is Pastore. I am a professor of esports and instructional technology at UNCW, and I've been gaming since the Magnavox Odyssey and Atari 2600 through today. I'll let the rest of these guys introduce themselves quickly.
Hello, my name is Ashley Cribb, and I'm the president of the Esports Club at UNC Wilmington. I'm a graduate student of the instructional technology curriculum, and I am also a admin specialist for the food service maintenance department at UNC Wilmington as well.
Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you.
Cool.
Emmanuel.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emmanuel Mitchum. I am also a UNCW employee and also a graduate student. I work formally in the Office of Community Engagement and Applied Learning as a marketing and communication specialist. In the club, I'm the vice president, and just happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Emmanuel.
All right, my name's Eden Bennett. I am a current junior at UNCW. I'm currently majoring in history and hoping to become a professor myself one day, but my roles in the club is that I am the secretary and undergraduate representative.
And tell us about your little history of gaming, because it's very impressive, Eden. Don't hide that.
Oh, man. So I've been playing World of Warcraft for a very, very, very long time, and I, at some point, ranked up the PvP ladders to be in the top 0.2% for North America.
Super impressive, and I love that goal to be a professor. When I read that this semester, that's an awesome goal.
Yeah, it's gonna take forever. It's gonna be a long road, but I'll get there eventually.
It does take forever, yes. I can attest to that. Okay, guys, so let's start from the very beginning. So we all were at UNCW. All of us were there, and there just was nothing to do with esports or gaming. I mean, literally, there was zero community. It was maybe you knew a few people, but there was nothing. So we came up with this idea. Basically, the way we originally came up with the idea is I thought there's got to be a cool community. I sent an email to Ashley and Emmanuel, and I said, would you guys ever be interested in an esports club? What happened at that point?
We said, yes. Let's go.
And then what did we have to do? We had to fill out we went to the school's website and we had to fill out a bunch of paperwork. Is that the way it went down?
Yeah, well, there's a form that you have to do for doing a club, to start a club. So we had to fill the form out, and then I submitted it to both Ray and Dr. Pastore and to Emmanuel, and to take a look at it, see what's going on. And then you have a formal provisionary period that you have to go through, and which basically means you had to have like 5 people join. And so,
oh yeah, we could barely get those 5 people. We had problems doing that, right? Where you could like barely get the 5 signatures.
We had classmates, and we had of the MIT graduate program, so we had about 2 or 3 people from the MIT graduate program that says, here, sign this. So that's how we got enough people to go ahead and say that this is a provisionary club.
And that was spring of 19, right? So spring of 19 we did this. Like towards the end, we were officially approved by like early that summer, maybe, is how it worked out.
In the summer.
And that summer is when Eden sent us an email and said, hey, I see that you guys started an esports club. What's going on? Like, I'm totally on board with that. How do I join? What do I need to do? I said, welcome. You're like the first person that's contacted us. We need tons of help.
Yep. You're like, thank you, Lord.
I was like, guys, someone emailed us.
Right. Oh yeah, she loved it. She's number 2,
Oh yeah, that's right. You did mention your World of Warcraft.
Oh my God, she's like a pro.
Yeah, I was like, there are people at UNCW that like this stuff. I knew it.
I barely even remembered how I joined. It just felt like I was just there immediately.
and then the funny part too was the fact that in the background, I'm like, okay, who's this Eden who was this Eden? And I actually checked her on Facebook, did everything, then invited her over to our closed Facebook group, and as far as that kind of stuff. So it was kind of funny how we would go in and I checked her out and stuff. She doesn't know this, of course.
At that point, we
well,
didn't
I know now.
We didn't,
we
didn't have a Discord or anything at that point. So so that was it. I mean, that was our summer, literally. We had like one or two other people helping us out at the time. We went through summer. That was it. We started the school year, and we were talking on email, just via email, and we came up with this idea to have a meeting together. We had a meeting. Eden, I don't think.
We had to have one.
Yeah, we had to have a meeting. So we had a meeting. Eden, I don't think you were at this. I think it was literally me, Ashley, Emmanuel, and one other student.
Right.
Yeah.
And we came up with this idea to have a tournament. We had no clue what we were talking about. But we had each been to some tournaments, and Emmanuel had competed in Smash, right?
Right. So that's a funny story too. I've played in some tournaments in the past, and I've in a collegiate environment. I had never played in a tournament, but the Upperman African American Cultural Center was sponsoring a Smash Brothers tournament. I love that game so much, and so I just said, you know what, let me just try my luck with this, and I ended up winning that. And so we used that as kind of like a key marketing piece for the first rounds of the club, but it was really cool.
Yeah, we used your picture. We were like, someone has won something, Esports Club. We've had a winner. You had like a nice little trophy from Smash Brothers and stuff.
Yeah, it was cool.
So we basically,
ironically, we're like a Smash hub. Like
yes.
Wilmington is literally a Smash hub.
Yep.
So we didn't know that at the time. That was like us guessing, basically. We decided to just have this tournament. We had no idea what we were doing, but I think Emmanuel probably created Emmanuel creates these beautiful graphic art stuff. He's like absolutely amazing. So he creates our flyers for us, by the way. They are amazing. So he definitely created our flyer for that tournament. And I don't know how we had anyone. I don't know. I think we were leading up to the tournament, we thought we just picked a random time and day. We had no clue what we were doing. And we were hoping that we'd have maybe like 10 to 20 people show up.
Right.
And then we had our first tournament. We came in that night. I don't think we didn't know what was going on. We didn't really have a formal tournament organizer or anything. We got really lucky, and it all worked out. So what happened that night? What was the first tournament like?
It was, for lack of better words, like just breathtaking. There were so many people. Didn't we have like over 100?
There was like 100, 120, 130 people total.
Man.
People were bringing their own monitors, their own controllers. Like we funded it obviously, but like everybody wanted to just come together so like perfectly.
And it was raining that night, and people still came. We had a line out the door to start the tournament. Like I couldn't believe it. We got there early to set up, and there were a few people. So fortunately for us, there was as we already mentioned, Emmanuel mentioned, Eden mentioned, there was a Smash community already in Wilmington. Somehow they saw our tournament and joined up with us during the tournament. So it was almost like a partnership. And that basically helped us make the tournament because they took over for tournament organizer. They took over some of the roles that we didn't necessarily have to fill, and they helped us out a lot. But yeah, we had like 100, we had 70 to 80 competitors, and then maybe 120, 130 people there. Faculty, staff came, students, or kids came. Like I brought one of my kids, some other faculty did. But that tournament was insane.
I'll tell you how insane it was. We couldn't finish the tournament because it was over, was it 11 o'clock?
We had to be out of the room by 11.
We had to be out of the room by 11. We couldn't finish it. We didn't. So basically, they finished it at their dorm. I think either the Patrick or something. They took everything at Patrick's apartment, and they finished it there. And so because they couldn't finish it, and I was like, well, you could come to my shop, or the shop on campus, or we were trying to figure out what we could do, and then of course, so that was the funny part, was the fact that we did it so long. It took so long to do it that we had to actually postpone it or just do it.
Yeah, we didn't realize it was going to be that long whatsoever.
Right.
We started at 6 p.m. Like now we start our tournaments at like noon, 1 p.m.
Noon.
Yeah, 4:30 is like a late one. Yes, like it's much different. But so we had some prizes for the tournament. I believe we asked around campus and we got some prizes. Is that?
Yes.
And I asked a restaurant. I got like a gift card, and we had some.
Right.
And I think students maybe donated some stuff. It was basically like donations, but we got some donations around campus.
Yeah, we
like
got
some free
the
T-shirts
bookstore and Airmark donated some items. So we had a pretty good prize package for everybody for that initial tournament.
Okay, so we have this first tournament. It turns out to be this huge success that we had no idea it would. I mean, we were all secretly hoping it would be, obviously, but we didn't think it'd be as big as it was. We were thinking 20 people would have been success, and it was 100 more people than that. So after this tournament, everything gets crazy. We all of a sudden have an esports club, right? We're having meetings, and there's like 20 to sometimes 25, 30 people showing up at our meetings.
Yep.
Right.
People want to be involved, and all of a sudden we get over our heads pretty quick. We have growing pains, right? So
yes.
So what are some of the things that we experienced what are some of the good and bad things we experienced right after that first tournament when all of a sudden, so think like fall semester last year, October timeframe, we're getting ready for a second and third tournament. What are some things that we were doing?
I noticed at first, like, we were really, really excited to hold more and more tournaments at a faster pace. So we were, like, planning tournaments months ahead, like, not even knowing, like, what the weather was going to be, like, if a hurricane was going to come through, or, like, I don't know, a snowstorm was going to come through. So, like, we were really, really in over our heads. We just kind of wanted to feel the joy of holding a successful tournament again, I think. Yes.
So we had this second tournament, and our second tournament was, like, about a third the size of the first one. We might have had 40 competitors, maybe 50,
about
40, 50, 45, something like that. So it wasn't like a bad small tournament, but it wasn't like the first tournament, and we couldn't figure out why. And then we had a third tournament, and it was about the same as that. It was like 40 to 50 people. So we were trying to figure out why. What was going on? Why do you guys think those two tournaments were not as successful as our first one?
A lot of it is communication with other resources. So we were partnering with Wilmington Smash.
The first one.
So on the first one, and then we were actually letting them run the Smash tournaments because they knew more about how to run Smash tournaments. So we were like, okay, well, you guys can do this, and then we'll advertise, and then, because we really didn't know how to do it and everything. So we were just like, okay, well, these people do it all the time. They love doing it. Let's partner with them, and then let them run them, and then we can handle everything else. So we handle like getting the room, advertisement, all this stuff, and then when the tournament happens, then they TO it, and then they handle everything, and then of course we have the prizes.
Right.
So that
we definitely started relying on the Friday Night Smash group a lot instead of trying to focus on our own resources, which I think was a downfall for a bit.
Yeah.
Right. It consequently too, like, Smash is just such an easy tournament game to set up. So that was also, I mean, like, our first few tournaments were Smash Brothers. So I mean, it worked out in the end, but
yeah, and that was, Ashley mentioned scheduling the room, figuring out where could we hold tournaments that was big enough and could accommodate us and had the technology we needed was not easy. We literally had students go to every building on campus to find rooms that were available, rooms that fit and met our criteria, and rooms we could actually get, because some rooms they were trying to charge us like all this money, and we were trying to do this for free because we didn't have any money. And that was another thing. That second and third tournament, we charged admission, and that first tournament we did not. So I think that was part of that. And that first tournament was a Friday night. The next two were like in the daytime on Saturdays or Sundays, which maybe was not as popular. I think there were just a number of reasons that they just weren't as good. But then, so we realized we were just doing too much. We were burnt out at the end of the fall semester. I mean, I was burnt out. I felt like you guys were burnt out.
Definitely.
I looked at everybody's faces and everyone was, we were like, we just did too much. We had 3 tournaments in about 3 months. And then we did all kinds of little things in between. We had like a game day, game night thing. We were just doing too much. And each tournament was like weeks of work. It was advertising, talking about it, planning, figuring things out. And then the tournament itself, and then cleaning up the tournament. And it was a lot of stuff. So we get to the point where we decide to have a first tournament in January. And this tournament turns out to be a success. Another big one. Actually an awesome, it was by far our best tournament. Size-wise, the way it ran, everything about it was 100 times better. What did we do right this time?
I believe that was the one in EB 162, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that space is just really conducive to a nice tournament setup for that size.
We had a big room.
Nice room.
Isn't this a tournament where we paired up with other clubs as well?
Yep.
That was a definite plus because we had like Overwatch players, League players, D&D players. Like it just brought everybody from all reaches of campus to just kind of come together and have a fun time.
Yeah.
There was that high school too, right?
Yeah. We had a bunch of high school students come. Yeah. Yeah. We had some high school kids come and compete and do some other things there. So basically what we did is we invited a bunch of other groups to team up with us. Like we were just teaming up with Friday Night Smash originally, and then we continued that relationship. We still are continuing that relationship with them, but we brought on other people who also had a similar interest. Whether it was the Tabletop Club, they came to that tournament. And then what we also did is we brought our own teams. So in addition to having a tournament, we had like a couple tables where people were playing League of Legends, Overwatch. People brought their own systems. So if you weren't interested in Smash Brothers, you still had something fun to do at the tournament.
Somebody brought their entire PC setup.
That's
that's how dedicated they were.
Somebody brought their entire PC setup to that tournament. Yes, that did happen. And he's on our Overwatch team, so he was dedicated. But yes, he brought his entire PC setup.
I was amazed.
We set him up on the stream too. That was awesome.
Yeah.
His setup is pretty heavy, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so we did set up all that on. We had in that room, which I'm going to show some pictures flying through here so people can see. But if they're listening, they won't be able to see them just if they're watching. But yeah, we had 2 big monitors in that room. Just an overall good setup. And I believe we did charge for the Smash Brothers tournament again.
Yes.
But everything else was free. So it allowed everyone to come and participate and just be there if they wanted to be.
I love that space that we had the opportunity because, you know, like we had ways that we could incorporate other things besides just the tournament itself.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a nice venue, and the way we did the tournament, I think, was awesome.
And at this time, we were starting to communicate with the community in general. Like you guys said, a high school. We were starting to communicate with all the high schools and tell them to come. We still are talking to a professional team that's local to us. We talked to them. They helped advertise and help our tournament as well. So we were really trying to get involved and expand beyond just UNCW at that time, which I think is why everything was going so well. So then... So we were doing a bunch of good stuff. We were going to have we decided to have, 2 big tournaments a semester, right? That would give us time to just focus on those, have these 2 big tournaments, and boom, coronavirus hits. So we have this awesome, successful tournament in January. We're planning an April tournament. Not only were we planning an April tournament, we had a bunch of stuff lined up. Like we were going to be at some conferences and just doing some other things. We were invited to the Cape Fear Museum. And everything gets canceled. But we don't cancel, do we? We still have a tournament in April.
Right.
Good.
So what did we do? So
that online tournament was it was a learning experience, let's put it that way.
Yes. So we had an online tournament in April, fully online with Smash Brothers. And we did a small Halo tournament as well.
Right.
Yep. Battle at the beach. Yep.
So
Battle at the beach.
what did we learn during the online tournament? What were some issues we ran into during that online tournament?
Communication. That was,
Yeah.
like, hands down, the biggest problem was communication. There were so many questions being asked in the Discord. People didn't know where to go to access the tournaments. It was just lack of communication between everybody was our problem.
Lack of communication. I think the one thing I had a problem with, because my kids were competing, was how do you get, like, meet up with the other person, and like we were using Smash GG for our brackets, but like how do I get a code to like meet up with the person I'm supposed to play against, and how do I know when I'm supposed to, and how do I use all of that stuff? I didn't know how to do it, and I think a lot of other people who were new to it didn't know either.
Right.
And I think we realized like we needed some kind of tutorial to do that.
It was just like those things that we took for granted in like a face-to-face environment.
Yes.
Like when you played it online, it became more difficult.
And we couldn't stream the tournament because there was no broadcast feature. So it was just people were playing and they enter in their stuff in the bracket. So you could see the bracket, but you couldn't really see games. There was nowhere to see it.
Right.
Yeah. That was
And
really
then,
rough.
of course, we had a prize pool. So then I had to actually go in and take all the money and then divvy out all the money to the people who won the different type tournaments, and that's when we learned about some of the shortcomings of the Smash GG bracket system, the platform.
Because we had to use your personal like PayPal or whatever we used for this.
PayPal and Venmo. I used both of them at the same time.
So we had to deal with that. That was a big issue. Charging any money for the tournament was a significant problem.
Right.
So we did that. We had this tournament. We also did a small Halo bracket for that tournament, which was kind of fun. And during this time, we had started our Discord server in the fall semester, but that was growing. So we were working on this Discord server. I was working on a curriculum piece that the university had requested. You guys were all being pulled into meetings all the time, different meetings for different reasons based on whoever wanted to meet with us, because the university was kind of going crazy over esports. They wanted more. Some people wanted more and some people were against it. So it was kind of a crazy time, and then boom, coronavirus hit and we were out. But we did continue. We were one of the only things to continue. But once coronavirus hit, it's something we didn't talk about at all as our teams. So during these tournaments, we had been trying, during the spring semester, around this first and third tournament, we decided to start up some teams. So what did we start up? Overwatch, League of Legends, and Rocket League?
Yes.
That's right. And how did our teams do first? So basically we tried to get them to practice each one. So basically it was a group of students that we would told to try to meet up once a week, and we tried to compete a little bit.
Right.
I could talk about what the League team did. I don't know about the Overwatch and Rocket League.
Well, I was kind of trying to help out with the Overwatch team at the time. Now, I'm not an Overwatch professional at all, so honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing, but like somebody really had to step up and be like, all right, so this is when we're meeting and this is when we're going to try to practice. Yeah. And I also tried to be on the team myself because we just didn't have enough players. Yeah. That was another problem. Like, we had a lot of people come to the tournaments, but actual interest in like teams, what we were definitely struggling on, except for League somehow. For League.
So for League of Legends, we had almost 3 teams. But so I was in charge of the League team, and the way we divided it up is basically by rank and position. And we really had 2 teams and like some alternates. And the alternates, it wasn't that they were bad players or not interested. It's just that they were maybe playing other games, and they said, hey, I can fill in if someone's sick or whatever. So we did compete in 2 League of Legends tournaments. Our first tournament, both teams got absolutely smashed. Just destroyed. We were competing in I believe it was Star League. We got absolutely smashed. They just lost. They each played 2 games, and each game was short and quick, and they got destroyed. And I think they felt kind of defeated. But I explained to them, hey, you guys, they had only been practicing like 2 weeks and they entered a tournament. I mean, what did they do?
A lot of these schools have been practicing for months on end and like have coherent coaches, teams. We're just thrown together in our dorms.
Yes, exactly. It's like I told them, I was like, it's like you guys going and trying to play against like UNC basketball, like a pickup team trying to play against UNC. Like it's not happening. Right. But we entered in a second tournament and we actually beat a few schools. They didn't place or anything, but they beat some schools and before they got eliminated, so they didn't do as bad. Rocket League did good, right?
Yeah.
Rocket League did amazing.
We have some really good players in Rocket League. When they played in a tournament and they almost qualified, and then this is a national tournament with other universities, and they almost qualified, which is like the top 12 maybe, I don't remember, but so we were like, which is awesome. So we were like,
they were winning games like left and right, and then they
they were beating university teams.
Yes, so they were beating varsity teams.
That was the awesome thing about it.
It definitely proved to us that like we have the capabilities of winning these tournaments.
Yes.
And so, and the funny thing too is, and what we're learning now is like summers and stuff. So we're actually going through the summer now, and then we're like, okay, well, you guys have fun, do whatever, try to practice. So our thing that our next challenge is now we're trying to gear back up from summers.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about our summer. So what happened to UNCW Esports Club? So first of all, our curriculum was approved. So we now have an official UNCW Esports certificate, which is one of the, literally out of like 20 in the nation. I mean, we're one of the first, definitely the first in North Carolina and one of the very few in the East Coast, which is pretty cool. So that happened. But what happened with the club over the summer?
Over the summer, we kind of just like, dwindled apart, if that makes sense. Like we were all doing our own thing. Like people have kids, jobs, like visiting family. And so we just kind of, it's just like at first we were definitely like dwindling apart, but by the end of the summer we were really like just picking up the pace immensely.
Yeah, because we were pretty much like not dead, but we were all like, it was coronavirus, it was summer, it was all that stuff. And that's great. Like we all needed the break. I needed a mental break. We all did. I wasn't pulling up Discord every day. I was like, I need a break from this. But come like, what was it? Mid-July, probably. Maybe that's when like the freshmen got accepted or something.
Yeah, that's when people were like accepting their college applications and like putting in their deposits.
Yes, all of a sudden the Discord server started blowing up.
Yep. What I mean, from my perspective too, I check the Discord every now and again, but that activity really ramped up a lot, and I wonder what attributed to that. Was it you, Eden?
I don't really recall.
I think Ashley actually started getting some people.
So what I used to do, or what I was doing was I'd go over through like Twitter, and then we would go Instagram, and then Reddit, and so I would actually start posting on there, hey, these are for teams, or and trying to get new people. Of course, we want to, we have our social media accounts, so it's like just trying to go in, communicate, go in and try to tell our message, or because the thing of it is, people were moving in during the summers, and so they would actually look around, get into your local scenes, or the local thing, because they're coming to the fall. So a lot of them would actually go in and check those spaces within, to find out where's the best place to move, or where do you want to go get groceries, or where can you go get groceries. So a lot of it is, they try to go in that area where they're going to, if they're going to transfer or start school here. So that was our thing is one of the challenges you find is okay, you've got 17,000 students and you've got 1,800 or 2,000 employees and all this kind of stuff, but how do you reach those people? So that's the challenge, is trying to figure out how you actually communicate to those and try to find those people, A, that love games, and then B, would, like to be competitive at it. So, that's our challenge. That's the biggest challenge.
So once we got these people, all of a sudden our Discord server was super active. And these people were not just communicating on it, they wanted to do stuff, and they were like ready to go. They wanted to form teams. They wanted to do stuff. So we formed a Valorant team. And then we held elections because we had all these people who wanted to do stuff. So we created a bunch of positions like streamer and communications and all kinds of different officers. And we now have like 10 officers. I mean, we held elections in the summer because we had that many people.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have like a whole like group to help out with this, so all of us aren't taking like multiple things at once again. It like prevents a lot less burnout.
Yes. And that's been my goal for myself and you three, is to say we can't do it all. So we have to let other people do stuff, and they want to help out. And I can't be in charge of 20 different things. I can be in charge of 3 things, and someone else is in charge of 3. We divide it all out. So I've been trying to, we've all been trying to give tasks to other people, and I think it will help us. So now we're at this point where, okay, so we get all these new people. And I forgot to say, in the spring we had a logo. We created a logo. We have T-shirts. We started selling more T-shirts. We started creating masks in the summer and doing some things for a fundraiser. And we also partnered with Azalea Fest, which is a big festival in North Carolina, to have a Minecraft tournament, which is going on right now. It's like create a float for a parade and submit a picture of it. And then we are planning our first online tournament. So how's the fall semester going? We just started our semester last week. So how is this year different from last year, the startup?
Well, we definitely have to adjust to being completely online. Like, we can't hold our big tournaments anymore because that's such a risk for everybody. So we're definitely going to get a lot more experience being online. So in case this ever happens again, we know what to do immediately. Yeah. Like, we're good at it. We can just easy.
Definitely.
And it's definitely gonna make honestly, like, as cheesy as this is, it's gonna make a lot more friendships. Like, this club is gonna bring so many people together this year. Like, times are hard right now, like Corona is stressful, but like having people that you can play like video games with and just like get along with without having to worry about like social distancing is gonna be really reassuring to some people.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's one of the reasons why our Discord server has been so active, is everyone's just inside, and it's the easiest way to communicate all the time.
Well, one of the things I wanted to do was create like an activities coordinator, so that we can have. One of the things I've been doing is doing research on other Discord or other gaming or esports communities from like the other universities. So UNC Asheville, I think it's UNC Asheville. Well, one of them, they have like Discord nights. I'm like, yeah, that would be really cool to have like a night where people would when they would actually game together, or do activities or play games together. And so that was a goal, and that was the reason why we wanted to. One of the reasons why we wanted to create the more officers, so that we could have somebody just dedicated to certain things, tournament organization, activities, social media, and all these things. And so that was the thing, is, okay, we've got all this stuff now. Now we have kind of like an organization. So now we have to actually, have actual roles. And so, and I will say that, we're now implemented for the fall. We have movie nights, and then we have actually game nights. I mean, we had a game night, I think it was last night. They
had something last night.
Yeah, they had last night.
They were playing Fall Guys.
Yeah, they were.
Fall Guys. Yeah, Fall Guys and Among Us or something like that. There's another game that they were.
Among Us, yeah.
Among Us. And so, but the interesting part about it is that Among Us and Fall Guys are actually online games that you can actually team up, or you can actually look for parties and stuff and actually play together. So that's an interesting part of it too, is that we're actually trying to find games that are games that we can actually play together.
Yeah.
So And I wanted to stress too is the fact that I think what we actually are doing is actually creating a community now. You know, where people can come together and they they are actually interested in you know, how you're doing, good morning. That was a thing this morning was, you know, people were saying good morning or whichever. You know, how's going? We've actually added more channels, you know, based on interest. So it's evolving a lot.
Yeah, what's really nice is that like when I came into UNCW as a freshman, the esports club didn't exist, obviously. And we had a few clubs on the side, like we had the tabletop gaming and this just those kinds of clubs, but I didn't really resonate with them. So in a way, it kind of felt like I was in a college that really didn't like match me.
Yeah.
Like it matched my major, it matched everything that I wanted to do, but like in the current time, I didn't really have anything to like add myself to.
Yeah.
So the creation of this club, like, probably not only affected me, but everybody else that was here who are just, like, overall just really geeky and nerds. Like, it's really amazing.
I like to consider us cool and not geek. We're the cool. We're cool.
Well, no, we are definitely nerds. I don't even know why you're trying to correct me there.
Yes, you're right. I could like tell you some really nerdy stuff that you don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean,
we're talked about computer specs.
Yes, we are talking about computer specs, and it's like a cool topic. So,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think we all felt like that. Like I felt like that as a professor. That like, well, why isn't there like this cool gaming community here that I can be a part of as a faculty member and play? Like I play these games, so I play them with people all over the world. It'd be cool to have like a community here to do that with. You know, I mean, I think that's for all of us kind of how we felt.
It's definitely going to draw more people to UNCW as well. Like,
and
we were just known as like this beachy, like surfing kind of school beforehand, but now we have this whole other possibility that we can delve into, and who knows where it can go.
So that's the next part is what is like our plan? Like, where do we see this going? Like, what do we see this going this year and like beyond?
Yeah, there's definitely some recruitment potential there. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about it in long term, but I mean, you have an international reach with some of these games, and I mean, we're better to recruit than like Overwatch or
Yeah, I'm just a big dreamer person, but I like in the future, like I really hope that one day like our teams can have like an actual spot on, like in UNCW's budget to like travel for housing and just those kinds of things and scholarships too.
Absolutely.
A scholarship to play video games would be such a dream for like I swear 50% of our population.
Yeah, I would love my goal for us is to have an arena, have varsity teams, and with that comes all the things you just mentioned, the scholarships, the money, the T-shirts. Well, we have T-shirts, but they get like backpacks, whatever it is that comes with it.
Transportation is my biggest one, like a nice bus to ride on.
A bus to go to big tournaments that we compete and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get it, and it might be this year, or like for next fall. Like it might happen. I think there's a good chance it could happen. I'm really hopeful. Obviously, I don't want to be down about it and say we're not going to get it, but I think we can get it even with coronavirus happening and budget freezes and all that stuff.
Yeah, the amount of people playing video games because of coronavirus is going to go up tenfold.
Yeah,
that's all we can do. Like close range sports are kind of out of the picture right now, but video games, they're definitely in.
Yeah.
So I guess the long-term goal is figuring out how we actually reach all this community that's there. How do we bring them out where we can actually, hey, there is a community for you, or, you know, try to make it from a, you know, you have like a niche instead of a niche to make it more of like, okay, this is mainstream. This is not just a niche thing anymore. You know, it's kind of like the old terms, you know, like nerd and geek and all this kind of stuff. And then you're a gamer, but, you know, it's like, you know, I talked to Dr. Pastore, say, hey, you know, go out to other professors and see if there's that game too. Bring them in, you know, bring them in. So, you know, there's a lot of directions that we can go towards, you know, trying to bring the whole community together. And how cool would it be where, you know, you have professors or faculty members and you have students actually playing together.
Yeah.
And then bringing everybody together. So that's my thing is that we can actually create a bridge and also create a community that can grow.
And games do that. It's one of the things I love about video games is I can play. I play League of Legends as my game, and I can play League of Legends with a 10-year-old or a 70-year-old, and we all are going to talk about League of Legends and all have like the same mindset, and we can all communicate and bond together. I'm a big surfer, and surfing's the exact same way. Like I can surf with a 10-year-old or a 70-year-old, and we can enjoy the surf together. It's just like that, and I love that about video games. That sense of community. It's everybody.
It closes the generational gaps in a way.
Yes. Generational, gender, any gaps that there are, disabilities, gaming can close all of those gaps and bring us all together. And really, we can compete together, learn together, play together. There's nothing stopping us. Even people with like severe disabilities are able to join and play video games just as well, or if not better than everyone else. They have just as much opportunity there. And that's just like amazing to see people rise up and like, without a second thought, be a part of the community and be a star.
Exactly. There's no limits as to who you can or want to be in the gaming community.
And that's what's awesome about it. All right, guys. Anything else to add?
One more thing. And one more thing is one of our pillars, because you have your foundations. One of the foundations is we want to stress diversity. So one of the things that we've also wanted to stress is the fact that it doesn't matter, who you are, as long as you love games and you are, love streaming or love, esports, then you have somewhere where you can come and go and be with everybody. So that's our whole thing is basically, it doesn't really matter where the background you came from or who you are, or because how diverse. You look at the group that we have right now that we're talking, it's like, okay, you got almost 49-year-old president that, then we have, other people and everything. And so it's like, how unique or how diverse can you get, as far as trying to, and everybody likes each other, everybody can go in and communicate and then talk and enjoy each other. So that's another thing too, is to think about is the fact that, we have this community that where is very diverse and unique as far as we, as long as you love games, that's all we care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As long as you stay respectful about it, like,
yes,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Mm. We have a great group for sure.
All right, guys. We said a lot. I think we did a good job of really reflecting on our year and just talking about the pitfalls and some of the things we learned and things we're improving upon and kind of where we're going for next year. So maybe we'll do this again next year at this time, and we'll be like, hey, we're sitting in our arena and
man, don't get me hopeful, man.
This is our professional studio that we're filming from, and we have someone filming this and all that kind of stuff. But thank you guys for taking the time today. And it was a good discussion.
Definitely.